They dug a tunnel longer than a football field through solid rock, and nobody noticed until $160 million had already walked out the door. I've covered enough crime scenes to know the difference between a smash and grab and something methodical. This one, the Banco Central robbery in Fortaleza, Brazil, it was something else entirely. Not a heist you read about in the morning papers with the sirens still wailing. This was a job where the criminals had already disappeared before anyone even knew what they'd taken. August 6, 2005. A Saturday morning in Fortaleza, a coastal city in northeastern Brazil. The Banco Central, the country's central bank branch, was closed as it always was on weekends. Security guards made their rounds, everything appeared normal, but beneath the streets something extraordinary was already complete. The tunnel had taken months to excavate, 250 feet long, dug from a rented warehouse 3 blocks away, angled upward toward the bank's vault room. The criminals, and I want to be precise here, they'd done something most thieves never do. They'd studied the architecture, they'd learned the guard rotations, they'd waited. By the time Monday morning arrived, the vault had been breached from below. The guards didn't see it coming because they were watching the doors and windows. Nobody, and this is what haunts these cases, nobody was watching underneath. The crew had entered through that tunnel, worked the vault, and left the same way. What they took was staggering, 160 million Brazilian reais. That's roughly $85 million at 2005 exchange rates. In cash, the largest bank robbery in Brazilian history. And for several hours after discovery, the authorities didn't have a single lead on where anyone had gone. The investigation moved fast once it started. Federal police descended on the warehouse. They found the tunnel exactly where the bank's engineers calculated it would be. They found tools, they found the entry point, but the thieves themselves they'd already scattered. This is where most people think the story ends. It doesn't. The crew involved in planning this job numbered around 20 people. Some were lookouts, some were engineers, some were muscle. But the operation had a structure, a hierarchy. And within weeks, informants started talking. The federal police had names, they had addresses, they had a pattern. September 2005. Less than a month after the robbery, arrests began. One by one, the crew members were picked up. Some were found with portions of the stolen money still in their possession, money they hadn't had time to move or launder. Others had already fled the state. The manhunt extended across Brazil. By late September, the primary suspect emerged, a man named Luis Fernando Ribeiro. Ribeiro had connections to organized crime in Fortaleza. He'd studied the bank's layout, he'd coordinated the tunnel work, he'd planned the timing, and he'd disappeared into the interior of Ceará state with a significant portion of the cash. What's striking about this case, and I've read through the court documents myself, is how ordinary most of the crew members turned out to be. A few had prior convictions, most didn't. This wasn't a gang of career criminals. This was a group of men who saw an opportunity and decided to take it. October 2005. Police located Ribeiro in a small town outside Fortaleza. He was arrested without incident. He had approximately 30 million reais on him, still in the original bank packaging. The money had been moved so quickly that there hadn't been time to properly distribute it or hide it. The recovery rate was remarkable. Over the following months, as arrests continued and searches intensified, authorities recovered approximately 95% of the stolen money. Some had been spent, some had been hidden in safe houses, but the bulk of it came back into the Banco Central's vaults. The trials lasted years, multiple convictions were handed down. Ribeiro himself received a lengthy sentence, others received shorter terms. The tunnel, that remarkable piece of engineering, became evidence. Photographs of it were entered into the court record. It stands as a monument to what human determination and planning can accomplish, even when the goal is theft. What strikes me most about this case is the precision of it. These weren't desperate men, they were methodical, they understood architecture, they understood security, they understood timing, and they nearly got away with it. The only reason they didn't was that money moves in patterns and patterns get noticed. Today, the Banco Central in Fortaleza has reinforced its security. The tunnel has been sealed. The warehouse where it originated has been demolished. The story, the audacious, meticulous story of how 160 million reais vanished through a hole in the ground, it's become part of Brazilian criminal history. A cautionary tale about what happens when ambition meets opportunity. The crew members are mostly still in prison, serving their sentences. The money that was recovered is back in circulation. The tunnel, if you could visit it today, if the bank allowed it, it would just be concrete and darkness. A reminder that sometimes the most elaborate heists unravel not because of a single mistake, but because criminals are still human. They still need to spend what they steal. The Banco Central robbery remains one of the largest and most sophisticated bank heists ever attempted in South America. It proved that in an age of digital security, old-fashioned engineering, a shovel, some concrete, and patience could still breach a vault. But it also proved something else, that even the most carefully planned crimes leave traces. and traces eventually lead somewhere. Subscribe to stay updated on the next case. There's a new heist, unsolved mystery, or criminal mastermind waiting.